in the chat if you have questions, and I'll call upon you. Go ahead and get started with Trace Travers from Rivals. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, so you said yesterday that Coin would be reevaluated on Thursday. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Coin will not be going this weekend. In terms of the time, it's hard for us to say quite yet, based on what the doctors and Coin have discussed and what they've shared with us. But he won't be going this weekend.
And with that, is Maldonado any closer to coming back as well?
He's questionable, or I would call it doubtful probably right now, Trace. That's probably where we would classify Aaron.
And in place of Coin, how did you evaluate Braxton and Marquez doing this past week?
Braxton's played a fair amount for us here in recent years, and he's a physical guy. He plays physical at the point of attack. He's kind of a brute, and we love Braxton. He plays extremely hard, and Marquez got some more reps, and he just, he's new in the system, but he's got a really good motor. He plays extremely hard. He's got some power, and so we're going to continue to work those guys, and they're going to play and help us. And then, obviously Cam, we'd like Warren Patu to continue to develop and find a role. And then there's some young players that we're consistently working with, a couple of the freshmen as well, Miles Williams and Yele.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to David Bush from Bear Insider.
Of course, looking back at the DB's performance last Saturday, how did you feel they did overall? And we'll go ahead for that part first.
Well, I think we didn't play in the pass defense. So that's DBs, that's zone coverage by the linebackers, that's rush mechanics by the rushers. We didn't play pass defense to the standard that we would expect based on the ability of the players and the standard that's been set here. We didn't play up to that. And so we watched the video and we went through all of that. And we, got back to practice, and the guys have continued to work hard. And now we got to transition the practice to the games, and we can do a much better job there. And, we as coaches got to identify the drills and the methods of communication so the guys understand what we're asking them to do. And then when we do it in practice, and we got to see that same consistency down in and down out in the game. And that's an easy concept, but it's hard to do at times, especially when it's maybe new for a guy or two. And one play here or there on a third down can be critical in the game, as we all know. And that's what happened. So we're hard at work to remedy all those things, but it's a collective effort at corner, safety, nickel, linebacker, outside linebacker, and defensive lineman, everybody.
Now, were the problems mental breakdowns, physical? Was there any some issues?
Well, we had a couple. We had a couple busts in coverage, meaning a guy didn't relate to the right receiver. More of them were technique oriented, and so we've just got to be cleaner there. Again, it's at every level. It's linebackers, it's safeties, corners, nickels, D linemen. Everybody was involved.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, Jake Curtis. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm good. My question's been answered.
You said you're good, Jake?
Yes.
Okay. Jim McGill. Go ahead, Jim.
Coach, you've done nothing but win in non-conference games at Cal before this. Have you been in situations where a team started slow and bounced back and finished strong? And do you see anything about this team that gives you confidence that this can turn into a conference champion?
Yeah, there's a lot of football to play, and example after example of things not going quite right early and finishing really strong. I mean, the reality is if we played maybe 3 or 4 plays better in the first 2 games, we probably are sitting here having a totally different conversation. And that's the world we live in. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, we're talking about now a few plays in a couple plays in each of those games. Are we where we want to be? Obviously not. We're not, but we're not going to, sit around and sulk about it. What we need to be is focused on improvement and how do we play better? How do we play more consistently and, execute the techniques better so we can, both offensively, defensively, and in special teams feel better about the result. But I mean, we want to be, improving each and every week. That's how this thing goes. And so we have a lot of hope for our team, and we got a lot of strong leaders on our team, and they've worked extremely hard this week. And so I expect us to continue to do that.
Thanks.
Okay. David Bush has another question. Go ahead, David.
Looking at Washington coaches, particularly that quarterback, Morris, what do you see in him, and what, just kind of describe him as a player and what problems he presents?
He's a really good football player. He seems to have a really strong feel for the game, kind of an innate QB at heart. He can throw the ball down the field. He does a nice job with his feet, making things happen. They do the RPO game, and he makes quick decisions in the RPO game. So I think he does a nice job. I remember him in high school well, and he's a strong player. So got a lot of respect for him.
Okay, anybody with a final question? If you do, give you about 5 seconds here. Okay, see.